everyone, we are Group 8 and today we will talk about our presentation. First, let me continue a discussion. Naomi, have you noticed each report of the World Bank just like the TV series? And one report tells a story. Do you know it?
Yes, and today we are storyteller breaking it all down for our audience. Let's start our story.
Okay. Let's go.
Hello everyone, I'm Yang, and this is our topic. Examination of strategic policy implementation studies such as World Bank report from 2005 to 2011. Here are the contents of our presentation. The first part is background overview. The second part is key recommendations. The third part is implementation challenges. The final part is future directions. So now let's begin our presentation. First part, the background overview. In this part, we will introduce three reports from the different years from the World Bank. The first report is from 2005. The topic is a better investment climate for everyone. The second report is from 2008. It's about the agriculture for development. The third report is from the 2011. It's about the conflict, security, and development. So later I will introduce one by one, briefly. The first is from 2005 report. The World Bank's Work Development Report 2005, titled A Better Investment Climate for Everyone, emphasized the critical role of a favorable investment climate for fostering economic growth and alleviating poverty. The report outlines several strategic policies that governments can implement to enhance this climate, focusing on key areas such as business environment, infrastructure development, accessing to financing, and governance reforms. The report asserts that a conducive investment climate is essential for encouraging firms and enterprises from micro enterprise to multinational corporations to invest productively. This investment is pivotal for job creation and the availability of goods and services, which in turn generates tax revenues that funds essential public services like health and education. It also has some key areas for improvement. The first is business environment. Governments are encouraged to create a regulatory frameworks that minimize bureaucratic hurdle and promotes fair competition. This includes protecting property rights and ensuring contract enforcement, which are vital for building investor confidence. The second is infrastructure development. Investment in infrastructure such as transportation, energy, and communication is crucial. Improved infrastructural faculties, business operations, and can significantly reduce cost, thereby attracting more investment. The third is access to wise financing. The report highlights the need for better access to financing options for business, particularly small and medium enterprise. This can be achieved through developing financial markets and institutions that cater to diverse business needs. The fourth is governance reforms. Effective governance is fundamental to establishing a trustworthy investment climate. The report stressed the importance of tracking corruption, enhancing transparency, and fostering public trust in government institutions. That's from the 2005. The second report is from 2008. The importance of agriculture for development. The key role of agriculture. Agriculture is essential for economic growth, poverty reduction, and food security in developing countries, especially in rural areas. And second, agriculture's broader impact. It not only provides food, but also generates income, employment, and exports. It plays a essential role in improving the well-being of rural population. The third one is focus areas. Sustainable farming progress, enhancing productives and addressing environmental challenges are crucial to promoting agriculture development. It also has some key recommendations. Investing in rural area focus on rural infrastructure, roads, erection, and the markets to enhance access to resource and markets. And agricultural innovations, support for agriculture research, new technologies, and knowledge sharing is crucial to improving productivity and sustainability. For policy reform, the government should design policy that promote agricultural growth, invest in education and healthcare in rural areas, and reduce market distortions to ensure fair price and equitable access to resource. And the next one is from the 2011 report. The name is Conflict, Security, and Development. For this report, we need to understanding the challenges. First one is core message. Conflict is a primary barrier to development as it undermines governance, economic stability, and social coherence. Second one is cycle of violence. Many countries face the rapid cycle of violence due to weak institutions and unsolved grievance. The third is development impact. Fragile and conflicts affect states like in achieving development goals with higher poverty rates and slower economic growth. So the key solutions and recommendations from the report is building resilience institution, which means focus on improving governance, justice, and accountabilities to address the root cause of conflict. Second one is inclusive development, create jobs and deliver public service equably to rebuild trust and foster stability. And third one is integrate approaches, combine short-term security intervention with long-term development strategies to ensure a sustainable peace. The final one is global partnership, leverage international support for financing, expertise, and post-conflict recovery programs. Okay, next part is about the key common sense. The first common is governance reforms. All three reports emphasize the necessity of governance reforms as a foundational element for development. Effective governance is crucial for creating a conducive investment climate from 2005 and ensuring agriculture productive is from 2008 and mitigating conflict 2011. This includes strengthening institutions, enhancing transparency, and combating corruption. The second part is economic growth. Economic growth is a central focus across the reports. The 2005 report highlights the importance of a favorable investment climate for growth, while the 2008 report discussed how agriculture can be a driver of economic expansion. The 2011 report underscored that economic opportunities must be created even in fragile contexts to foster recovery and growth. For sustainable development, sustainability emerges as a critical theme, particularly in the context of environmental stewardship and resource management. The 2000 report addressed the sustainable agriculture practice, and 2011 report points to needs for sustainability economic opportunity in post-conflict setting. And the last one is goal is to balance economic with ecological preservation. The final part is poverty eradication is a common goal in all three reports. The 2005 report connects investment to climate improvements directly to poverty reduction, while the 2008 report increased how enhancing agricultural productive can lift rural populations out of poverty. The 2011 report emphasized creating jobs and economic opportunities to support a vulnerable population. For implementation effects in developing countries, it has some problem. The first is government reforms. Countries that have successfully implemented the government reforms, such as Rwanda, have seen significant improvements in investment climates and economic growth. However, nations with persistent corruption and weak institutions often struggle to attract investment and achieve sustainable development. The second one is economic growth through agriculture. In regions like Sahara Africa, investments in agriculture had led to increased productivity and food security. For instance, countries that adopt a policy promoting smallholder farming have witnessed notable reductions in poverty level. The third part is sustainability initiative. Countries like integrate sustainabilities into their development strategies, such as Brazil, with its amazing conservation efforts, demonstrate positive outcomes in both environmental protection and economic benefits from ecotourism. And the last one is poverty reduction strategies. Nations like Bangladesh has effectively used the microfinance initiative to empower the poor, showcasing how target financial policies can lead to a substantial improvement in living standard. So that's all parts about the implementation effects in developing countries. Final, we also need to know the challenges faced. Despite these successes, many developing countries face challenges such as political instability, a lack of infrastructure, and limited access to markets that hinder effective policy implementation. In conflict-affected regions highlighted in the 2011 report, ongoing violence disrupt governance reforms and the economic activities, leading to cyclical poverty. And for infrastructure defects, often prevent agriculture advancements from translating into economic growth as farmers struggle to access market. So that's all from my part. And the next will introduce our Naomi to continue our presentation. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Liang Yu. You can call me Naomi. Today I will talk about implementation challenges and the key challenges in policy implementation. The first is funding shortage. Is limited financial resource, higher infrastructure development, and program execution and changing factors. For example, the agriculture policies is irrigation projects were delayed due to lack of funding, affecting productivity. And the second, education initiative for budgets constrained restricted access to quality teacher training programs. And the underlying causes is over reliance on donor funding, and poor financial planning in development countries. And the second is cultural and social barriers. Cultural diversity and local norms often conflict with standardized policy frameworks. For example, the inclusive education dispart resistance to integrating special education due to social stigma, and agricultural modernization is famous received modern practice and then conflicted with traditional methods. And the underlying causes is lack of culture sensitivity in policy design and insufficient local stakeholder involvement. And the last is political instability. Frequent government changes disrupt continuity and create policy vacuums. For example, post-conflict reconstruction. Weak governance in conflict zones delayed rebuilding in factors, and vocational training. Critical instability led to inconsiderate funding for technical education. So the underlying causes is of fractional institutions in developing regions, lack of long-term strategic governance frameworks, and the is lack of public support. The poor communication of policy goals reduce stakeholder buy-in and adoption rates. For example, agriculture policies is limited awareness led to farmer mistrust of government programs, and the education reforms is communities were reluctant to support a curriculum challenge to choose unclean benefit. The also is underlying causes is insufficient public engagement during the policy design, poorly executed and poorly executed awareness campaigns. Okay, this page I will talk about the case study highlighting challenges. Okay. Case one is agricultural reforms. Uh, in this case, we will face challenges lack of funding and cultural resistance to modern technicals, and this impact is reducing efficiency and feared adoption of irrigation technologies. And the case two is inclusive education. The case two face challenges is social stigma around disability inclusion, and this impact is solo progress in achieving incredible access to education. And the second and the case three is post-conflict policy implementation. And the challenge is weaker governance and political instability in post-conflict zones. And the impact is delayed recovery factors in education and infrastructure sectors. And this part, I will talk about addressing the challenges. The first is funding solution. The involved promote public-private partnerships and implement innovative financing models like macro loans. And the second is culture sensitivity. Involve local stakeholders in policy design and provide training for policymakers on cultural awarenesses. And that is strengthens the governance and establish stable governance frameworks and decentralized decision making to empower local authorities. And the last is enhanced public engagement involve conduct awareness campaigns to explain policy benefits and foster community ownership through participatory approaches. And this part, I will talk about the introduction to future direction. Uh, Future policy development must address emerging global trends such as globalization, digitalization, and climate change. Drawing insight from the 205 and 208 and the 2011 World Bank reports, this section explores potential innovation and strategies for the next decade. And a strategy policy innovation for the next decade, we can emphasize on digital transformation. For the Insider, the 2011 report highlighting the ICT's role in education and public service. In the future direction, for example, expand e-learning platform for rural and underserved areas. Use AI and big data to chunk policy impact and outcomes. For example, digital plan for vocational training to address workplace needs. And the second is climate resilient policies. The 208 report emphasized the sustainable agriculture. Future direction involve integrate green technologies into agriculture and infrastructure projects, and promote climate education to prepare the workforce for green jobs. For example, develop renewable energy vocational training programs. And the third is the inclusion and the incredible policies. The 2005 report focused on equality in resource distribution. In the future direction, include expand access to education and healthcare for marginalized groups and address gender disparities through strategic institutions. For example, policy to increase women's participation in STEM fields. This part I will talk about addressing emerging challenges. The first is globalization. This part face challenges is cross-border economy and culture integration requires adaptable policies. And the solution is create global education standards and promote cross-cultural understanding. The second is digitalization. This part of its challenges is bridging the digital divide between regions and income groups. Uh, in order addressing the challenges, this solution is increase investment in ICT infrastructure and digital literacy programs. And the third is climate change. This part face challenges is raising environmental risk threaten policy sustainability. And the solution is develop climate resilient infrastructure and integrate sustainability into policy design. And the recommendation for future strategies. The first is invest in digital education and training to prepare for teaching the driven economy. And the second is develop inclusive framework that provides marginalized communities. Emphasize, emphasize the sustainability in all strategies policy to address climate risks. And finally, strengthens international collaboration for global challenges. The family conclusion is first, challenges, funding shortage, cultural misalignment, political instability, and weak stakeholder engagement remain significant obstacles to policy implementation. And second, future direction. Balanced digital solutions, inclusive and climate resilience in policy to ensure sustainability. Actionable and the second and the third is actionable standards. Foster global cooperation and use innovative financing and create adaptive policy frameworks. Okay, that's all. Thank you.